Welcome to the Football Historian Podcast.
By all means, enjoy it.
He will go right to the very top.
Dos, tres, cuatro times.
Here we go, Germans.
I will turn these results round.
All right, that's good manners.
There's animosity, but there's no fight.
If you can't beat them, join them.
How do you make me feel sick if I look at you?
No, I want to fight here. Don't drink, don't sleep with women, don't drive fast cars.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit too!
Hello, welcome to the Football Historian Podcast. Today I'm delighted to be joined by Josh Williams. Thank you for making the trip to the garage. It's a bit of a madhouse through there today, but it looks normal over here, so that's fine. Just firstly, can you explain who you are? It's just, that's the best way to intro it, what you do and why you're here.
Yeah, okay. Is this like a Liverpool podcast, is it?
Well, try and do general, but
okay, sound.
I know everyone Liverpool related, unfortunately, so it's been very Liverpool centric. But...
Yeah, well, I've been a bit of a kind of football analyst for a few years now. I started doing it for free initially. Then I got a job with Reach. Reach is the company that own the Liverpool Echo and Daily Mirror and all that. Yeah. So I started doing like analysis for them, like transfer analysis, tactical stuff and all that. Did that for about 5 years. Had my own podcast with the Echo. And then left, and now I'm in a position where I'm doing like Redmen TV every week, the Anfield Wrap every week, my own podcast and Substack and that, and I've got my own book out, so I'm an author of Data Game, but everything about my niche, if you want, my kind of vibe is kind of Liverpool, tactics and data. That's kind of what I specialise in, but I like to think I know a thing or two about like Aston Villa and you know, Nottingham Forest or something like that as well. I can mix it up a little bit if I want, like, but obviously specialist subject is Liverpool, like.
Yeah, so no one wants to talk about Forest at the moment. So
I know, yeah.
But yeah, so I was going to say, obviously you've done Anfield Wrap, Redmen TV. You do the weekly thing with Chris Pajak, and it where you do like the tactics and everything.
Yeah,
we've had
deep
Chris
dive,
in
it's
here.
called, yeah.
LFC TV, Premier League Productions, Sky Sports.
Yeah. Well, I should have said this. That I've done bits of TV work as well now with LFC TV and some Premier League stuff, some Sky Sports stuff. Hopefully that keeps increasing. But yeah, it's hard getting that work, but that's where the money is.
And how old are you?
I'm 30.
Yeah, so
yeah.
Still got plenty of time to be smashing into it. Then, so what's the best opportunity you would say has come from doing all your writing and all your data analysis so far?
As in like career opportunity.
Yeah, well, up to you. However you want to take it. You could have had a free meal somewhere if that was to be.
I think probably just meeting the lads at the Anfield Wrap. I think that the main fella at the Anfield Wrap, Neil Atkinson, I don't know if you're aware of him, but he just does a lot for people. So I've never met anyone like him, to be honest. He's a very unique person. Like, but he put me in contact with LFC TV, for example. I started getting work with LFC TV through him and just getting myself on the Anfield Wrap. That I've got me, you know, myself in front of all of their audience and stuff like that. So that's helped with my Substack and things. So I think if I'd have left the Echo 12 months earlier, before I'd met like Chris Pajak and before I met Neil, it'd have been a lot harder. Do you know what I mean? So I think those two have probably opened up opportunities for me and that and allowed me to get myself in front of people who are my bag, basically, and who are going to, you know, relate to the stuff I'm doing. So, yeah, but it's obviously nice travelling as well. I've done the odd bit of travelling where, like, I've had my hotel paid for to go to London or something like that. And I've been, like, in those conferences sat, like, behind Michael Edwards and, you know, that's been mad. Things like that have been heavy, like. But, yeah, there's loads of different mad stuff that's come from it, really.
Yeah. And then, is this all you do all this because you're not very good at footy, or how good at footy are you yourself?
I think I'm all right. Yeah, I'm playing on the weekend actually. I'm playing in a charity match for Dan Kay, who was a journalist who used to work for the Echo, but sadly passed. But I'm quite sporty. Like I played paddle today. I've got 5-a-side tomorrow with the Anfield Wrap, and I've got tennis on Thursday. So I like to think I'm quite sporty. But the problem with me, football wise, I haven't got the engine, mate. I can't like do the 90 minutes box to box. I just can't do it. So I am a bit more of a 5-a-side player. Like.
Yeah, not wrong with that. I do 6-a-side twice a week. That's all you need.
Yeah, boss.
So the point I was trying to make, obviously, how close were we to writing about you as a Liverpool player, or was it never?
No,
nowhere near.
Never, no.
So why the data side then? Why is that where you found your niche in this area?
So I think initially it was tactics. Just because I've always had a bit of an interest in like basically reasons why, you know, getting to the bottom of like how things work, and like I watch stupid programs on like Channel 4 or something of how like crackers are made and things like that. You know what I mean? I'm not naturally interested in that stuff anyway. So I was always quite tactical in the way that I thought. And then I got the job at Reach, and I always go back to it. There was a specific day where they asked me to analyse Lincoln City. Right, now believe it or not, I've never seen Lincoln City play, mate. I'm not sure about you. But when they give me the odd little task like that, I had to find a way of doing it quicker, because I couldn't just watch Lincoln City for hours on end to get a vibe of them. I needed to use something else. So that was when I started to use numbers, and I was like, right, I'll read the numbers on like the shots and the shots faced and the possession and all that stuff, and quickly I got a vibe that like you can get a bit of an insight into a team without ever seeing them play. And it's just snowballed from there, and now I'd say I'm a bit 50-50 with the tactics and the data. But it's just, I think now, I was never a numbers guy. Like, I failed GCSE maths and that, you know what I mean? I'm not like a scientist, I don't like some of these in the game. But I had to end up using it just as another means of hopefully being right, if you know what I mean. Like, just adding another layer to my own analysis to, right, am I definitely right here in what I'm thinking? Do you know what I mean? Things like that.
Yeah, back yourself up.
Basically,
well,
yeah.
I was going to say, when you do stuff with Andrew Beasley, who does the Liverpool stats-related stuff. We've also seen Statman Dave, who's on the Peter Crouch podcast and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So to say, we're in the era of a statsman at the moment.
Yeah.
So do you feel like it's on the rise, all this stuff, you picked it up at the best time to get involved in it, or?
Yeah, a little bit. I think there's a common misconception as to what stats are. That the term stat covers a lot. I always think a lot of people think stats are facts, right? So some people will say, like, Liverpool haven't won this game haven't beaten Forest for 11 years. That's not a stat, that's a fact for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when it comes to stats, I think stats are more to do with analysing the actual game and, like, you know, and deconstructing what happened and things like that. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. I like to think I'm quite objective with it. I mean, the thing with stats as well is, like, you can manipulate them to fit any narrative, basically, and that's dangerous, and that's what you shouldn't be doing. But the likes of Bees, I was reading his stuff before I used stats myself. He's an OG, like, you know, he was doing it way before me. But I think he'd probably say I'm a bit more tactics informed than he is. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I'd say Bees and probably Statman Dave. I don't know. I've never met him, but they're probably a bit more numbers inclined than I originally was. For me, as I said, it's been more of a gradual. Right, I'll have to get to grips with this. Yeah, do you know what I mean? I'm not like a mathematician. I don't like that. Like,
well, the next thing I was going to say, then Fantasy Premier League and bets, you must be great at them if you know all the figures. Figures. If you can work out Lincoln in an afternoon, you must be able to work out the score on a Saturday. How good are you? Do you do fancy footy? How good are you at betting?
Yeah, with the betting, I don't do too much betting simply because football's just a stupid sport. So to bet money on individual games, you're not going to get anywhere. But fantasy football, yeah, I do all right with that. Every season, I don't know if I should say this because you're not supposed to, but every season I enter a money league, and the money league consists of like 50 people, and all 50 people put in like a fiver every week. So by the end, the pot is a lot. And I think for the past 4 seasons now, I think I've finished in the top 2, and I've got, like, at the end of the season, like, over $1,000 or something. I don't know if I should say this, you know. I could probably get in trouble for that.
Don't worry, don't be saying it, but yeah. So it's your knowledge is coming back to pay in many other ways.
Yeah. I think it allows me to look at the underlying numbers and that, and basically, like, there was a period last season or the season before where Miguel Almiron just exploded for Newcastle, and I was just like, I'm not getting him in. It's not going to continue. He's not that kind of player. The numbers suggest he's flying, but he's not. It's not going to persist. So it helps me when it comes to avoiding things like that. Whereas, I don't know, the man on the street might just look at Almiron and think he's the next Ballon d'Or winner and just throw him in. Whereas you've probably missed a boat, mate. Really, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm all right with that sort of thing, mainly because of the numbers and that.
Yeah, but not a big better though.
No, mainly because I think it's a mugs game, innit? It's if you do win, you'll lose next week. So it's every now and then I do just as an entertainment thing for me if I'm watching like Brighton against Fulham or something like that. But for the most part, I try to avoid it.
Probably the safest bet, yeah, no pun intended. So you've already mentioned it, but can stats be manipulated to back any arguments? I'm going to ask you. I know you've already said it there, but like you see online, is there people who put a stat up or a figure up and you look at them and go, "Wow, you know what you're doing there," and it frustrates you, or
Yeah, definitely. There's people who I like, who I'm familiar with and stuff like that, and because they're so positive in their mindset, at the end of a game, just to support any player, they'll just post loads of numbers and make them look boss. And I really hate that. I'll be honest. Like I don't think it's healthy. I think in football there's this kind of common thing where if you criticise a player, you're viewed as like, you know, you're not a supporter. Whereas in my view, it's perfectly fine to objectively say he wasn't good enough today, or he's not working lately, or something like that, and use the numbers to back that up or whatever. But it's important to be objective in that. And like I've been contacted by like consultancy firms, like agencies and that, and they want me to paint a data pack for them to make one of their clients look good in the numbers, which I can do. But I should really say, like, you shouldn't really do that. You know, when any club that buys a player on the back of agent-produced data, you're going to make the player look like Zidane or something when he's probably not. You know what I mean? So the important thing with using the numbers, and I think this is what Michael Edwards has been good at over the years, is just make sure you are doing it without having any emotional attachment to either side. You know what I mean? Just do it completely unbiased. And not everyone can do that, but I think I'm alright at that side of things.
Yeah, but so you're saying that's what agents do that a lot? Then they'll present
agent will, yeah, and
they've made themselves.
Yeah, well, an agent will do anything I suppose to sell a player, but anything that makes the player look better than he is, maybe. You know, players will do that, and I know players have done that as well. Players have contacted data firms and that, and asked for, can you provide a package on my game and stuff like that. But obviously, and there's been, have you ever heard of StatsBomb?
Yeah.
So StatsBomb in the early days were contacted by a club wanting to buy a player. So the club or the scouting department had basically already decided we're getting this player, but they contacted StatsBomb and said, give us your opinion. StatsBomb were a bit harsh, so they went back to StatsBomb and said, can you make it a little bit nicer than that? So StatsBomb went, okay. They went back. Scouting firm went back to them again. Can you be a little bit nicer? And StatsBomb were a bit like, no. So in other words, what the scouting department were trying to do was build a case already, a predetermined case for the owner or something. This is why we should buy the player. It's not how it works, mate. You really shouldn't do it like that.
Yeah, well, especially if you get that information the first time, you should take it on board rather than trying to
exactly,
your way. Yeah, but back to yourself then, obviously, Distance Covered podcast, and you got your Substack and that, so how did that all start, and how's that going?
So, Distance Covered is my handle on every platform. That was, so when I was initially creating social and that, the upcoming thing at the time was Klopp, Pochettino, and it was all about running as opposed to possession, which was the case a few years earlier with Guardiola and that. So at the time, the buzzword was Distance Covered. So I thought, sound, I'll have that. And then Klopp gets appointed by Liverpool. It works perfectly for me. And then I get a job with the Echo, as I said, and start working with the Echo and that for a few years. And then I get to a point where they basically let me go. They let about 400 of us go, I think, in the end. Page views and that, basically. So I needed to have another platform, and I applied for a few jobs that I just didn't want. The jobs were just like, you know, just writing about like what James Maddison's having for his dinner and things like that. Like that's not me, that mate. So once I realised it weren't for me, I set up my own Substack, called it Distance Covered, launched my own podcast on that platform, and since it's just kind of snowballed, and I've got like, I think about 3,000 subscribers now. I've been going since February, and that's now my main source of income, really. I could have done extra work for like some Liverpool websites, some popular Liverpool websites, but I ideally wanted to just have Substack. I didn't want to be sending invoices to here and there and all that. I just wanted to smash Substack to the extent where that's all I'm doing every week, and I've luckily got to that point. And I think I hope that when people think Distance Covered, you associate that with football and like a statistical read on the game or something like that. So I think it fits what I'm about as well.
That's boss, though. Fair play to you. Well done for doing it. And also your book, Data Game, I know you touched that again before. Done by Pitch, who I've also done my books with as well, so I know they're good people to be on board with. But can you just explain what that is and why people should read it, probably?
Yeah. So when it comes to Liverpool's success over the past couple of years, Jurgen Klopp and all that, most people would say, "Oh, it's because of Klopp. Klopp delivered it." And listen, that I wouldn't argue with that. That's true. But there's a much deeper story behind how Liverpool basically got smart to bridge the gap to City and to Man United and to Chelsea, who were just wealthier. And the way in which Liverpool did it was basically by becoming smart and using numbers and objective analysis and evidence-based decisions and all that stuff to basically gain an edge. So there's a story behind, and a lot of people as well say, well, Liverpool were crap with the numbers before Klopp, and after Klopp, Liverpool get smart with the numbers. So it looks like Klopp is the tipping point. But again, there's just a lot more to the story as to why Liverpool were initially stupid and then very clever out of nowhere. And like, for example, at the very start, Comoli's using numbers, but he's using numbers to create a team that is going to play in a crossing kind of way. He's signing Down, he's signing Charlie Adam, he's signing Jordan Henderson, who I think was a wide player for Sunderland at the time, and he's buying the likes of Andy Carroll. Now, data has since taught the football community that crossing is an extremely inefficient approach to creating chance. So, Liverpool used data initially in the early days, but they used it wrong. They used it badly. Yeah. So, there's a story behind that over the years, and eventually Liverpool gets to a point where they win everything. But Data Game, I like to think, is the story behind that. Basically, how everyone met, how it all worked, who signed who, and all that stuff. And yeah, the feedback I've had so far has been really good.
So obviously, you've already mentioned him. Michael Edwards, I'm sure, is a crucial part of that story as well. And obviously, FSG and the Moneyball thing is, I'm sure it's all tied in together. So how important are those type of people in a football club nowadays? And can you see that really getting bigger in the future?
Yeah, well, I think they're really important. I if anything, I put a bit too much weight on them personally, because I think everyone just puts so much weight on the manager, and they think it's this, like, you know, all-seeing God who does everything himself. And maybe Ferguson was that. Maybe there was a bit of that with Wenger. Potentially Shankly, the further back you go and all that. But the modern day, there's so many departments in a football club that it's very much a team thing. And when I say team, I mean everyone in the whole organisation. Like, there was a Michael Jordan documentary on Netflix a while back, and Jerry Krause uses a term in it, a little sentence in it, and he says, players don't win championships, organisations do. And I firmly believe in it, because the players obviously win the game, but the manager signs the players for the most part, but the backroom team appoint the manager, and the backroom team in Liverpool's case also sign the players. So if you've got a gang of idiots upstairs, you don't end up with Mo Salah on the pitch. Or Bobby Firmino on the pitch or whatever. So the decision makers upstairs are so central to everything that then comes on the pitch and in the training ground and all that. I have so much belief that they are super important, even though you never really hear from them or anything like that. And Man United, for example, over the past decade, they've had accountants upstairs, mate, and that's why they've signed, like, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who's not qualified to manage arguably the biggest club in the world, and that's why they're re-signing Cristiano Ronaldo as a pensioner and things, because they have got a clue, mate. So it comes from the top, I think.
Yeah, so you're on Gary Neville's side when he's playing the Glazers.
Yeah, actually am. Yeah, like, he gets pelters for that, doesn't he? But I actually believe in it. Like, I think he's right. But the problem is, he only ever says it when he loses. Yeah. So it looks like it's sour grapes with him. Yeah.
All right. Well, just final question on you before we end this section. Then, just what's the goal? What's the end game for Josh Williams? You got to be Michael Edwards at Liverpool? Is that the plan, or?
I don't know. You know, it's a good question. That. I think I eventually, I suppose, have aspirations to do a bit more TV stuff. I think I could basically be a pundit, but maybe a bit more insightful than what we currently see. I think we see a lot of cliches on there and a lot of lazy analysis. Whereas I'm not lazy. I like to think I do my own work and stuff like that. So I can see myself doing TV stuff a bit more. Maybe not Monday Night Football, obviously, because I'm not enough of a face to do that kind of thing. But a show along them lines would suit me, like transfer shows and things like that. And outside of the TV stuff, maybe a bit more consultancy stuff in the game where people are asking for that's increased lately. Where like agents are asking what I think, scouts at clubs are asking what I think. If that can keep growing, that's nice to be like an external consultant where like I'm giving my opinions on players to clubs and then they're maybe buying players on the back of them recommendations. So a bit more of that. But people always ask me, do you want to work in football? But the idea of never having a day off and getting underpaid, it doesn't really attract me, like, do you know what I mean? It seems to be a case of 24/7 and you earn about the same as a team leader in Tesco, which it's not for me, that, like, so I wouldn't rule it out, but it'd have to be an attractive proposition, like, yeah.
So wait for Michael Edwards to retire, or
I mean, if Edwards wants to give me a job, I'll take that one, like, but if I want to take a job at, no disrespect, but I don't know, Plymouth or somewhere like that, somewhere in a bit lower leagues, it's probably going to be harder, isn't it?
Yeah. Perfect, right. That's great, well, yeah, that's you sorted. We'll talk about football after the break, so we'll see you all in a sec. Are you looking for a Kazakhstani football team to support? Then I think FC Keme is a team you should support. Do you agree?
Growing up as a child, I always had FC Keme posters on my bedroom wall.
Well, and all the children of the Kazakhstani future will have FC Keme posters on their wall because FC Keme is the team to support, and because of that, Tom has made us a chant that we're all going to follow. So,
up the Keme, up the Keme,
up the Keme. Make sure you follow them on all the social medias, all the posts and all the things you should follow will appear below us and right here. You should be a supporter of FC Keme.
Live, laugh, Keme.
Hello, welcome to the next section. Still joined by Josh. Thank you for not running away. Next one, we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about football. So, just in general, don't have to be stats based. You can just be a fan. What's the first game or first memory you have of football?
But the first memory I have is a bit weird because it's not Liverpool. Well, I don't think it is anyway. I have an early memory of Zidane scoring that Bayer Leverkusen goal, the volley. By then, I will have been 8. Around that period, I had Liverpool season reviews on VHS. I didn't have Sky. That was how I watched Liverpool games and that. So they're my early memories, and my first game was awful, mate. It was Lazio at home, friendly, and we lost 1-0. I didn't even get to celebrate, mate. So, yeah, my early memories probably weren't that great. To be honest, Liverpool weren't the strongest team in the league, and I went to a charity game after that and realised very quickly this was a charity game full of old people, and it's not particularly entertaining, it's not particularly fast. There was 1 goal in that game, and that was the very, very end. So, yeah, I did well to hang on to my love of football in the early days, to be honest.
Great. Well, maybe an easier question. What's the best game that you've been to or seen? You can pick either or both.
So I was at the Dortmund 4-3. That was a belter, that, like. Because Liverpool at that point was starting the journey, weren't they? I think Dortmund were actually stronger. They had Tuchel, they had Aubameyang, Julian Weigl, I think, was playing for them, Hummels and all that. So they came really strong and they scored the opening goal, I think, or they certainly took a lead in the tie and things. And I was just thinking, like, Klopp's turning it around, but we're just not quite there yet. And then out of nowhere, just this tornado of chaos in the final third out of nowhere, and we end up winning the game. And around that period as well, I was doing a lot of, greeting the coach and that. So there's a famous picture of a load of scousers on scaffolding, greeting like Villarreal, and I'm on the scaffolding on the famous picture. Lucky I didn't fall down, so I could run be here today. But yeah, that was kind of, they were big memories. That was only the Europa League back then. That was not even Champions League football, but that was the start of what Klopp was skating, weren't it? So yeah.
Yeah, I was there that day. I remember saying to myself, just to make sure you enjoy the first 5 or 10 minutes, because the atmosphere will be good. And then I think they were 2-0 up after 5 minutes or something mad.
Yeah, I'd like to say Barcelona, but the Barca game, I didn't go to it, and because I didn't really believe anything was going to happen, I ended up watching it just on my iPad with my dad. It was just on in between us, and we were just watching something else, I think. And then we just gradually we started gravitating towards the iPad. But in the end, we're both like dancing around the room holding it. So my memory of that one's a bit weird. But if I was at that game, that probably would have trumped it. Like,
yeah, I can tell you that one was good as well.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the best era in football history? So it can be what you've seen, it can be before, it can be now, whatever. What do you think is the best era of football?
I'm gonna say now, personally. A lot of people have nostalgic memories of the noughties, I think is what you call it, isn't it? But the football back then, it was awful. I think it was very Benitez and Mourinho, and it was all about clean sheets. It was all about mid blocks and stuff like that. I think nowadays every team's trying to play. It's high pressing. Every individual's better. Defenders are a lot better. I think the goals are a lot more creative. One thing I would say in like the 90s maybe, but bear in mind in the 90s I'm like maximum 6 years old, so I didn't really see a lot of this, but maybe the goals were a bit more individual and they were a bit more, you know, mavericks and things like that, and the odd little long shots and stuff. I don't think we see long shots anymore. That's probably a bit of a mizzy. But I think nowadays is the highest standard certainly that I've seen, and the analysis is better now, and stats available, footage available, match of the day, and probably the pundits probably the best they've ever been. Still not amazing, but probably the best they've ever been. So yeah, I think we're in a healthy place now, but I'm assuming a lot of people disagree with me on that.
No, that's fine. The argument is, I think Chris Pajak actually made the argument that football just gets better and better. That's why records get broken. That's why everything's better. So that's fine. Doesn't really work with the podcast, but I'll let you off. No, it's fine. But obviously we've seen that the Barclaysman thing which is flying around at the moment, and you actually say all the goals are like Matty Taylor 50 yards out screamers, and nowadays just doesn't happen as much.
Yeah, to be fair, I'm a fan of some of them Barclays, man. Like, remember the shoe guy?
Of course, yeah.
Absolute belter. Morton Gamps Pedersen as well as one of always comes to mind for me. So I was definitely big on probably the Premiership, really, weren't
Yeah. Well, that's what you say. You watch the games back, and the football's nowhere near as good. Maybe the moments are better, but it's a lot of big headers and kicking it long.
Yeah. But even players like, you know, Emileski back in the day was brilliant, mate. You know, he was really effective at what he did in that, and I remember watching. I don't think it was called Match of the Day, but the intro was U2, A Beautiful Day.
Yeah.
Was that
ITV,
yeah. See, them days were great, mate, but I think football-wise, it is better now. Yeah. It's got to be.
That's fine. Okay, then the next one is, who is the best player of all time? Just first. Or favourite, I'll say. Favourite, and then we'll go into more.
Favourite player of all time?
Who's your favourite player? What it makes you smile? Maybe in the ilk of a Barclaysman, someone who's just a bit of a cult hero for you.
I think Thierry Henry was someone who I loved as a kid. I was obviously a Liverpool fan, but I remember checking teletext. Remember teletext?
Yeah.
As I was 6 years old or something like that, and I'd check if Arsenal had won, specifically to see if Henry had scored. And if Henry had scored, I would stay up and watch Match of the Day. And if he hadn't, wouldn't really be that bothered. So Henry initially just oozed class, didn't he? He was unbelievable. I think he's one who could play now and still easily be right up, probably still the best in the league, arguably. Ronaldinho was unbelievable as well. He was just a gift. You know, when you watched him, that was joy on a football pitch, weren't it? And I always remember the goal against Chelsea. Yeah. He comes to England with this reputation and then scores a toey against the best defence in Europe. That was amazing, like.
A little shimmy before it, that's so good at it.
Yeah. And Liverpool players.
Hold off on Liverpool because we'll go to them.
All right, go on.
But yeah, you got Ronaldinho in your mug, so I knew you were going to say that. So one step ahead. Yeah. The next question is the best 5 Liverpool players of all time. So I'll let you go into that. So, but people add caveats of the only players they've seen or whatever. But the question to you is, who are the best 5 Liverpool players of all time?
So I'm going to do ones I've seen.
Okay, that's fine.
And
I need them in order as well, sorry.
Okay, and it doesn't have to be a 5-a-side team.
No, just the best 5.
Right. Number 1 is Luis Suarez. I think he was outrageous. I think he's the only player in like the Cristiano Messi era to have genuinely deserved a Ballon d'Or ahead of them, which I don't think you can say about any other player really, apart from maybe Lewandowski one season. So I think Suarez is the best. Second, I'll go Gerrard, because he could do everything. He was ahead of his era, I think, in that sense. I think he's more of a player than now. And in terms of clutch moments, unbelievable, when he's just a man for the final, like a man for that kind of last minute winner and stuff. So Stevie Gerrard second. Third, I'll go Salah. Similar reasons to Suarez, just not as special as an individual, and that's saying something because Salah's pretty special, like. But I think Suarez was just that bit more amazing, even though we weren't here for as long. Suarez was a joke, whereas Salah is still a joke and still magic and that, but yeah, just there's a little bit separating them. I think fourth, I'll go Van Dijk. Should be higher, to be honest, because he's the best centre-half I think that's ever played the game. I don't think I'm being biased as well saying that. I think it's genuinely outrageous. Good at everything. Ticks literally every single box. I always say if you was creating a centre-half in a lab, you create Virgil van Dijk, I think.
Yeah.
And fifth, let's add up a few here. Early days Michael Owen comes to mind, you know.
Oh.
I was a big fan of him, but
Don't forget what he did in his later days.
yeah, I know, yeah. Trent is also one that I might have to throw in, you know. I think Trent is a joke compared to the typical right back as well. It doesn't make sense. Bobby, Sadio.
I need one. I need a fifth place.
You need one. You know what? I think I'll go for Firmino. Purely because I think he was the architect of Klopp's original team. He was the system on his own. And as soon as he drops out the system and we bring in a different kind of player, everything changes. So I think I'll go Firmino just because of what he means to that Liverpool team that kind of conquered the world, yeah. But could have been a few, that fifth one.
Yeah, that's right. Right, the next one is a five-a-side team, and he's an all-time five-a-side team. Doesn't have to be Liverpool. It could be anyone, anytime, any era. Five-a-side team, please.
Okay. I think I'll go Alisson in goal. I think Ederson's better with his feet. Neuer is better with his feet. I think there's a few arguably who are better with the feet, but because Alisson is so good at the shot stopping side, far better than them I've just listed, he's the most complete I think that I've ever seen. And you know what? I'm going to do this a bit differently. I play five-a-side, so I know what it takes to be good at five-a-side. Some lads who are boss 11-a-side players are not very good five-a-side, so I'm going to pick, you know, like nimble, technical kind of players. But doing it on the spot is going to be hard. I think at the back, no, in fact, straight at the back, I'll go Messi. I'll start with Messi, obviously.
Okay.
Best player of all time, comfortably. It's going to be hard, this. Doing it on the spot, mate.
Sorry.
I might go Modric for similar reasons.
You're not losing the ball there, are you?
No.
Just those two.
I might also... I'll go Ronaldinho. I only ever got three.
Yeah. Two more.
Probably need someone a bit more defensive minded now, like, don't I? Busquets. Maybe you can come in. And how many? I've got one left.
One more. Yeah. Messi, Modric, Ronaldinho, Busquets. Oh, that's five, isn't it? And then you Alisson in goal.
And then Alisson in goal, yeah.
And then a super sub.
Divock Origi.
That's the perfect
For
one.
obvious
That's
reasons.
great. And last question on this section is just who is the greatest football manager of all time?
Pep Guardiola.
And why?
I just think he's... Well, to be fair, we have never seen him drop below the elite level. But at the elite level, certainly, I think he's unbelievable. And I don't just think it's tactically. I think it's, even if you listen to him, if you hear clips of him, watch like Amazon documentaries and that, the way he communicates, he just cultivates a gang of absolute winners to the extent where they start falling out with people when they leave clubs. Like Gundogan fell out with people when he went to Barcelona recently, and he ends up coming back to City. De Bruyne is falling out with everyone, with Belgium. Messi, I don't think Messi has the career that he has if he doesn't initially in his early stages spend a few years with Guardiola. And I think in terms of what he adds as a manager, City have got unbelievable players, unlimited wealth. I don't think they breach 90 points every season if Guardiola's not there. So he is the reason for me why they've established this monopoly. They had everything before, but they had Pellegrini, they had Mancini. It was a competition. Guardiola's the reason it's not. So when he leaves, I think the Premier League will become the Premier League again, even though City are probably still the strongest. But, you know, shout outs to Ancelotti and Klopp, and, you know, there's loads out there, but Pep is the one for me who is just obsessed and is probably worth the most points as an individual. Like, but it'd be interesting to see him in charge of Burnley. It would.
Yeah. Don't think that's going to happen anytime.
No, sadly not.
Unfortunately. Yeah. All right, let's go to that. That's footy chat sorted. Then we're going to have another quick break and I'm going to settle some of the biggest debates in football history. So we'll see you in a sec.
Hi, I'm Warren, the producer for the Football Historian podcast, and we're here today to talk to you about the Patreon subscription.
Yes, so for just £1 a month for the first 100 people, there's a lot of benefits that you get, and I think £1 is a terrific deal.
Pittance, yes,
£1 only, and you get early access, which means at least 24 hours before everyone else gets the episode, you get to watch it. There's also an extra section, we call it the Football Historian Podcast Extra Time, and we ask all the questions to the guests that no one else gets to see unless you're a patron. And on top of that, you're the ones who get to ask the questions. You send them in, we tell you which guest is going to be coming and sitting in this chair. You ask them, we record it, you get to watch it. No one else does. On top of that, we do a monthly special. We did one last night. It was a quiz. You were there.
Yeah, bedlam and great content.
Yeah, so hopefully you can watch that. As I said, we've got a round on Linvoy Primus or Lionel Messi. We've done mastermind stuff, all that. That's going to happen every month. The bigger this grows, we're going to do it even more regularly. Hopefully it'll be once a week. But we need your support. So to do that, £1 a month for the first 100 people. Your early support will be rewarded. From then on, it's £3 a month if you want to support us. If you want to pay £5 a month, you get all that we've just mentioned, but you get a poster. Warren will sign it, I'll sign it, all the lads. We'll get a few of the guests to do it as well. We'll send that out to you. And then for £10 a month, you get all that, the poster, all the early access, and you get a free copy of any of my books. So I've done one on Billy Liddell, Crossing the Park, Tommy Lawrence. They're all worth at least £20. For just £10, you get a copy of the book, all the stuff we've already mentioned. We'd really appreciate your support. We cannot do this without you.
This really is a passion project, and anything people can put into it goes straight back into it. We don't take a wage. We're doing this for free. We're doing this because we enjoy what we do.
That's it. It all makes the content better. And I say from just £1 a month, you can make our dreams come true. Thanks for the support. Enjoy the rest of the episode.
The debate.
Hello, welcome to the debate. We're going to settle the biggest debates in football history, starting with one. I think I know what you'll say, but I need them in order. Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes.
Gerrard, Lampard, Scholes. Exactly how you said it.
Why?
So I think Gerrard is the most complete. Obviously, he could play anywhere on the pitch. Everyone says this. But I think crucially, if you take Scholes out of United and put Gerrard in, I don't think they win less. I think they win more, if anything. If you take Gerrard out of Liverpool and put Scholes in, I don't think Liverpool will get anywhere near winning Champions Leagues and anything like that. So Gerrard, I think, moved the needle more than any of the other two. Lampard, I think Scholes is probably a better footballer. Certainly, you know, Scholes is a bit Thiago for me, and in that sense, you know, I feel bad putting him third, but I think just because of the sheer number of goals that Lampard scored, he just has a massive impact on your points total at the end of the season. So in terms of actually getting over the line, getting results, and that Lampard does it some for you, and his availability was amazing as well. So yeah, there's not a lot between Lampard and Scholes, there really isn't, but I think I'd probably just lean towards Lampard.
Yeah, that's right. Next one, Pele or Maradona?
Maradona. I think Maradona was not as much of a goal scorer as Pele, but scored goals like Pele, but also created for others, and was a lot more of a talisman for Argentina, I think, on his own. Whereas Pele, I'd never really watched him live, but Pele seems to me as a bit more of stand in the box and being an unbelievable finisher of the move but constructing the move, leave it to Maradona. Do you know what I mean? Whereas Maradona's creating his own shots almost, whereas Pele, I think, was getting shots created for him by others and stuff. But listen, there might be some historians watching this who tell me I'm wrong there, but it feels to me a little bit like Cristiano and Messi, where Messi... Oh, is that coming up? I'll save that then, go on.
Well, I just want to ask you before I ask that question, obviously being involved in stats and all that, how can you compare the past, even if it's like what you said before, the early noughties, to now? Like, you know, if you're ever comparing stats of players and facts, data, whatever, however you want to word it, can you ever go that far back, or does it always have to be who you're in the field with now?
Yeah, generally no. Every now and then I do a Q&A on my podcast, and you get someone asking, like, what was the XG on Ian Rush's season in the 1954 or something like that, and I'm just a bit like, mate, I can't really do that for you. So one of the problems initially why Liverpool were crap in the early days of data is because the data was crap. I think now we've reached the point where the data is really thorough and it's genuinely good and it's bulletproof and all that stuff. But early days, the further back you go, the more noisy it gets, and the further back you go, the more you're reliant on big numbers like goals, assists. Whereas now you can look much deeper than that. So yeah, I generally try to stay in the last 5. To be honest, since Klopp's tenure at Liverpool started onwards, it's probably a healthy starting point, really.
Yeah, that's fine. Just interested, thanks.
Yeah.
Next one, Messi or Ronaldo?
The answer is Messi by a mile. And has anyone said Ronaldo?
Yeah, he's had a bit of a resurgence recently. Messi's quite comfortably winning. I think it's like, I think we're 18 episodes in. I think he's got like 12 votes, Messi, so he is comfortably winning. But quite a few people have said Ronaldo of late.
If you've said Ronaldo, you are wrong. Honestly, you are wrong, because Messi is the best player to have ever played the sport, without doubt. And I think the big difference, right? Ronaldo scored goals, obviously, still is scoring goals. But that's Ronaldo's biggest claim to fame, right? Scoring goals and that. Messi's a better goal scorer than him. So even that, Ronaldo's getting outshone by Messi. Then Messi's just a far more creative player. Like if you was to put both players in a team, right, and you was to say to Ronaldo, you actually are not allowed to score. Ronaldo doesn't really do a great deal for you at all. If you say to Messi, you can't score, he's still the most dangerous player on the pitch by a mile because of what he's creating, because of his passing and all that stuff. So, but the best first touch I've ever seen, the best dribbler I've ever seen, unbelievable. Whereas Ronaldo is just a freak human at putting the ball in the net, and he's become that, and he's unbelievable at that, by the way. And his availability, his consistency is incredible, but he is not on the same planet as Lionel Messi. He's really not. And I'll have that debate all day.
That's fair. Well, you've also kind of answered the next one, which is, if Messi and Ronaldo are the best players of the last 15, 20 years, whatever you want to say, who's the third best behind them both?
Luis Suarez, yeah. Said that earlier. There was a season, he goes to Spain, and I think it might have been his second season in Spain. He scored more goals than Messi and Ronaldo in La Liga. I think he scored something like 43 or something in La Liga, and I think he posts double figures for assists as well, and he's playing all the time. Some of his goals were outrageous. Yeah, he carries that Liverpool team on his back and scores some unbelievable goals. And by the way, I think Haaland broke the record that season in the Premier League. Something like, 36 goals or something like that. Yeah. Non-penalty goals, I think Haaland scored 31. That was what Suarez scored. That season when Suarez scored 31 non-penalty goals for Liverpool, I think Liverpool won 10 penalties. Gerrard took them. If Suarez takes them and he gets 41 in that season for Liverpool, when Liverpool are like not that good, you know, Ali Sissoko right back and that, and you know, or left back or whatever it was. So yeah, Suarez is for me. A few others in there who have been brilliant over the years, but Lewandowski comes close and all that. And I think Neymar's peak was unbelievable under the radar. I think a lot of people disregard Neymar, but he was brilliant on his day. His problem was, I just don't think he cared as much about in comparison to like Messi and Ronaldo and that. So, but yeah, Suarez for me comfortably.
Yep, he's had quite a few mentions of that one. Don't worry. Next one is goalkeepers. I've got Buffon, Casillas, and Neuer. You could put them in an order for me as well, please.
Right. Buffon, Casillas, Neuer. I'll go Neuer first. And I'll go Buffon second, I think. There's not a lot in that, though. I think Neuer was probably the most well-rounded. Still a decent shot stopper, but, you know, completely ahead of the curve, really, with the ball at his feet, like, and doing the whole sweep and stuff. In fact, no, I'll put Casillas ahead of Buffon, I think. Casillas was far better with his feet. And I think in the modern day, he could do the sweeping thing. I think Buffon, just exclusively a shot stopper, really, weren't he? And I think even today, he would be exclusively a shot stopper. Very good at doing that, don't get me wrong. Definitely a leader and all that. And arguably, I mean, Serie A fanatics might tell me different, but arguably the best Serie A goalkeeper of all time. So, tough one that, yeah, but that would be my order. I think Neuer, Casillas, Buffon.
We had John Achterberg in that chair and he put Neuer first, so I've took that as the right answer. Okay, it's a test if everyone else agrees with him. So. I've got two more. One is going to be incredibly easy for you, but I ask it anyway, and then I will finish with a tougher one. But I don't know how to word it. Okay, but I'll do what I normally do. Captain of England to win the World Cup or captain of Liverpool to win the Premier League?
I can choose what I am.
What would you rather achieve?
Captain of Liverpool to win the Premier League.
That's fine. Normally it's a bit. I try and say not England to someone of a similar mindset to myself. But I just have to ask it anyway.
Yeah.
Last question: who is the greatest football team ever? So it could be, you know, over the season. It could be one game. It can be a half. It could be whatever. But just who's the best football team ever?
I think it's got to be Pep's Barcelona. I mean, it has to be. Like they were untouchable at the time. They could still play now and arguably win the Champions League. And I think a lot of the time people have nostalgia with that sort of thing. And in reality, I think if a team now faced a team, a really good team from like 2008 or something, the 2008 team would just get battered. Just mainly because just the team dynamics have changed so much. So yeah, Pep's Barca were unbelievable. They had the best player ever leading the line for them. At his prime, scored like 90 goals or whatever it was in a calendar year. Then they had a midfield that you couldn't get anywhere near. And they were playing the likes of Yaya Toure centre half, mate. That's how daft that team was. Like Yaya Toure comes to the Premier League and goes down as one of the best ever midfielders that we've ever seen. But for Pep, he's a centre half because Xavi and Iniesta can't be displaced, and you got Busquets doing just dancing basically. Even though he can't run, still can't run now. But he's just been dancing around players for a decade, I think. So it's got to be Pep's Barca. But I do think the peak version of Klopp's Liverpool, obviously not the best team ever, but I stand by that team could compete with any team ever. Definitely. Such a machine of a team. And I'd love to see that matchup as well against like but you'd have Messi scoring hat-tricks and that though still. So yeah, Pep's Barca.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. Right, that ends the debate, and then we're going to come back in a sec and we're going to quiz you to test your knowledge on football as well. So we'll see you in a sec. Welcome back to the next section of the Football Historian Podcast.
Sorry, Pete, I'm really sorry to interrupt you. Where'd you get that shirt from?
Oh, this Latium number's just from Classic Football Shirts. Where'd you get yours from?
Thank you. Mine's from Classic Football Shirts as well.
Wow. Well, when I bought my shirt, I used the code TFH10 to get 10% off all orders. Did you use the same?
I did. I used a discount code. I think it was the same as yours.
Oh, TFH10? Oh, that's great, because if you want to get 10% off all your orders, you can use TFH10 at classicfootballshirts.com.
Unbelievable deal.
Right, welcome to the final section, Football Historian Podcast. Now the pressure's on.
Yeah, the scary section.
So you've got a choice of 3 quizzes. I'll tell you what they are, and I'll tell you which ones have the multiple choice or not, don't worry. So we've got a Liverpool kit quiz, which is just you're right or you're wrong. 2005 Champions League final, they're a choice of 3. Or Liverpool post 2010, and they're a choice of 3.
Liverpool post 2010 is going to be my strongest subject.
Okay, great. And then we'll do 20 questions. Gracie, all right to keep in score for us, please? Yeah. Grace, producer in the back, thank you very much. It's
going to be like who was on the bench against Bolton or something like that.
Only one way to find out, isn't there? But I'll give you the choice of 3 for each one.
Okay,
and we'll keep score for you at the end. No pressure, it's just for fun.
Okay.
But you're going to lose all credibility.
Just for fun, it can't be just for fun when you're in the industry, mate. I need to know my stuff, yeah.
We might have to cut this bit out here.
Yeah.
We'll see. So, first question. You'll get this right. Which team did Jurgen Klopp face in his first match as Liverpool manager?
That was Spurs.
He didn't even need the 3 choices.
No,
Correct.
no, that was all right, yeah.
1 out of 1. Question number 2. Who did Liverpool beat in the 2019 FIFA Club World Cup final? I can give you the options whenever you want. But if you just want to say it to look better, that's fine.
I think I do know it, but I think I'll take the multiple choice just to be certain.
That's right. So, Monterrey, Al Hilal, or Flamengo?
It was Flamengo.
Correct.
Yeah.
2
That's
out
what
of
I
2.
was going to say anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, that's what we all say. Who was the last team that Divock Origi scored against for Liverpool?
That's a good question, that.
He made your five-a-side team on the bench.
This is multiple choice.
Multiple choice. If you want them, just let me know.
Go on.
Everton, Aston Villa, Chelsea.
I knew Everton were going to be in there. I'm going to go... It is a guess, like... I'm going to go Villa.
Everton, right in front of you. We're staring you in the
You
face.
know, I
If
knew it.
Divock
It felt
Origi,
too easy. It
the
felt too
answer's
easy.
Everton every time.
It felt too easy.
Question number 4. Who started in goal for Liverpool in the opening game of the 2017-18 Premier League season? I think you want the options.
Go on.
Danny Ward, Loris Karius, Adam Bogdan.
17-18. Karius?
Adam Bogdan.
Was it really? Yeah.
Watford away.
Why?
I think we had injuries before,
Did we?
and
Yeah.
then people hadn't quite turned up.
So,
Yeah.
so that must have meant Karius and Mignolet were both injured.
Yeah, I think it was all like one of them had quite a rage or something like that. I think we were in the
Oh,
middle of a bit of a crisis, but yeah,
That's
I think
weird,
you
eh?
like drop one on the line. It wasn't him. Wasn't the best day for him. That's
Yeah,
all.
I don't have great memories of Bogdan, to be fair.
Yeah, I don't think many people do. Perhaps his mum.
Didn't have the best haircut either.
Next one. Against which of these English clubs does Klopp have the most victories as Liverpool manager? Everton, West Ham, or Norwich? Again, it's tough.
Yeah. Feels like the obvious answer is Norwich, but they haven't been in the Premier League every season that Klopp's been here, so I think I'm going to say West Ham.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well done. You missed the Everton one. That's good. I
No,
thought
we
I
had
was
a few sticky games against Everton.
No, I thought I was going to push you down there with the Origi line I gave you, but it was fine. Against which side did Liverpool draw 1-1 in Roy Hodgson's first league game in charge of the club in August 2010? Give you the
This
3
was a
options.
long time ago, this. Go on.
West Brom, Arsenal, or Wolves? 1-1 in his first game in the league.
I know West Brom was Rodgers' first game because we got beat 3-0. I'm going to say West Brom again.
Arsenal.
Arsenal, yeah, that's a good result.
That's what it was.
That, mate.
David Ngo scored and Joe Cole sent off.
Yeah.
First game on 3D on Sky Sports, if I seem to remember right.
See, that's the historian stuff.
Next one. Before Ozan Kabak, who was the only other player that Jurgen Klopp had signed on loan for Liverpool?
On loan?
I can give you the options if you want them.
Stephen Colker?
Correct.
Yeah.
Well done. Great, yeah.
I know we transfers like.
Which Chelsea player did Luis Suarez bite, leading to a 10-game ban?
Ivanovic.
Correct. This is a tough one. Ryan Gravenberch made his debut against which club?
Go on.
Wolves, Bournemouth, or Lask? I believe it was the anniversary on Monday. I seem to remember seeing it yesterday.
I'm going to say Lask.
Wolves.
Wolves.
Report, yeah. I think that Lask was the to trip you up. I apologise. Kenny Dalglish took over at Liverpool in 2011 on a temporary basis after Roy Hodgson was sacked. His first game in charge was a 1-0 loss in the FA Cup against who?
Go on.
Chelsea, Man City, Man United.
It was Man United.
Correct.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Howard Webb gave them a pen. It was never a pen. It was a pen, but it's just Howard
Yeah,
Webb.
because he got the whole. He was kind of like he was getting stick, weren't he?
Yeah, yeah.
At Old Trafford and that.
Yeah, it was a good. Well, it was good welcoming back. Anyway, 10 to go. Who made the most appearances for Liverpool under Jurgen Klopp? Give you options if you want them.
I've got an idea. But go on, I'll have the options.
Salah, Firmino, Henderson.
Salah.
Firmino.
Was he?
Yep.
Really? Yeah,
Unlucky.
that's mad, that, considering...
And then he left just before the
left,
end
yeah.
as well, Liverpool's first trophy of the decade came in 2012 as they won the League Cup against Cardiff on pens. Liverpool missed the first penalty of the shootout, but which player missed it?
Hell of a question, that. Go on.
Glenn Johnson, Steven Gerrard, Charlie Adam.
This was under who?
This is under Kenny, 2012 League Cup final against Cardiff.
And the options were?
Glenn Johnson, Steven Gerrard, Charlie Adam, who missed the first pen for Liverpool.
The guess, mate. I'm going to say Charlie Adam.
Steven Gerrard.
Was it, yeah?
Yep. His cousin came back to help us out, though. Against which club did Luis Suarez score on his debut for Liverpool?
I remember the goal and everything. I just can't remember the team.
Options?
Yeah.
Stoke, Wolves, Newcastle.
I'm going to say Newcastle.
Stoke City.
Was he?
No, unlucky.
I remember the goal, though.
We'll get there, don't worry. I think you've got this one. 2012-13 was the start of the Brendan Rodgers era. It got off to a bad start as Liverpool lost 3-0 in his first league game against who?
West Brom.
Correct. So you've already answered that one.
Yeah.
Who scored the final Liverpool goal of the Brendan Rodgers era before he was sacked in October 2015?
I need the options here.
Yep, that's fine. Daniel Sturridge, Danny Ings, Divock Origi.
It's unbelievable, that, because I remember his last game. His last game was 0-0. I think it was against Everton, wasn't it?
Yeah, I can tell you it was in that game.
Wasn't 0-0? Over 1-0? Right. I'm going to say then Sturridge.
Danny Ings.
Danny Ings.
He got his injury. We started well, don't worry. We'll fast forward some of these questions for you. Who did Roberto Firmino score his final Liverpool goal against? Options?
Yeah.
Aston Villa, Man United, Southampton.
Aston Villa.
Southampton away, last game of the season. 4 to go. We're nearly there, don't worry.
Not much of a historian, am I?
That's fine. You got the transfer ones right. That's fair. Liverpool won just one of their last 10 games in the 2017 season. It was a 1-0 FA. Sorry, Liverpool won just one of their Jesus. Liverpool won one of their first 10 games of 2017 as a year. This was a 1-0 FA Cup replay against Plymouth in January. Who scored for Liverpool on that day? I'll give you the 3 options.
Against Plymouth.
So Plymouth in an FA Cup replay in 2017.
Can you swear on this podcast?
Of course.
Go on.
Divock Origi, Lucas Leiva, Philip Coutinho.
I'll go with Origi.
Lucas Leiva.
Oh my God.
Nearly there. Against which club did Mohamed Salah score his first competitive Liverpool goal in August 2017?
Watford.
Correct. Gone out on a high. 2 to go. Who broke Suarez's record transfer fee when he signed for Liverpool?
Give
you the 3 if you want them.
Yeah, go on.
Andy Carroll, Raul Morales, Craig Bellamy.
Yeah, it was Carroll, wasn't it?
Yep, same
was
day.
That a week later?
He broke it. Yeah,
same day,
or
yeah.
like a day later, yeah. Last question. Liverpool beat QPR 1-0 in May of 2013. It was Jamie Carragher's final game for the club. But who scored Liverpool's only goal that day? The options are Jordan Ibe, Adam Lallana, or Philip Coutinho. Let's go out with a high.
Against QPR?
QPR. Carragher's last game.
I'll go with Lallana.
Philip Coutinho. Close.
So much for this 1 out of 3.
Sorry, yeah, don't worry, we're fine. What did we get there, Grace, if you don't mind, please?
2.5.
You started well.
Yeah.
30, that's not too bad.
There was a lot of goal scorers in there, weren't there? Who scored this goal?
Sorry, I thought you were a goal scoring fan then. 13 out of 20, that's not too bad.
No, it's all right.
It felt worse.
Yeah, it did feel worse, yeah.
I think you just got stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
No, that's all good. Well, that ends our chat. Sorry to end on a low for you. The chance was there for you to end on a high.
Yeah,
Your
it
fault,
was.
not mine.
I should have chose kits. Shouldn't I?
So thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us. Where can people reach you? What do people do? How do they get in touch? How do they help you become Liverpool's next Michael Edwards?
So I am on every platform at Distance Covered. Instagram and Twitter are the two that I use the most. And if you want to subscribe to my Substack and get my weekly podcast, my weekly articles and stuff like that, it's distancecovered.substack.com. So you can sign up for free and get one free article every week, or you can pay me $5 a month and you get me podcast and you get mini podcasts and an extra article every week. So yeah, please sign up.
Yep, great, that's great. Well, thank you very much again for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed it.
Yeah,
Apart
yeah.
from the last section, it was going
Definitely
going
different.
so well.
Yeah, just make sure you get the edit right with that last bit.
No, but thank you very much, and thank you for watching as well. And we'll see you next time on the Football Historian Podcast.